Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JPeeps.
This is the Bug.
This is JC.
This is Flash. This is Jimi Hendrix.
And you are listening to...
And you are listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening to the Run and Gun Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Run and Gun Podcast with me, JPeeps. Another day in quarantine, another day in paradise, you know. That's the way things are right now until things clear up. But let's get right into it. Major League Baseball. Los Angeles Dodgers' own Justin Turner says a home run derby should replace extra innings in baseball games. Is that a smart idea, or does it lower the value of the game? Look, I kind of see both sides of that argument. And a lot of traditional Major League Baseball fans will say, you know, let's play extra innings. And a lot of people that aren't so much traditional fans would say, you know, just for the sake of time, let's, you know, have that home run derby take place at the end of like 9 innings, and let's just go straight for that. And whoever has the most at the end of the bottom of such and such inning wins the game. So, you know, I mean, I understand how both sides would feel with regards to that argument and everything. So, I mean, you know, if I really had to decide on one, ultimately, like traditionally, because baseball is America's pastime, I would have to go with the extra innings side of it all and say, you know what, let's play extra innings and let's do it that way. Because, you know, that just, you're kind of taking away from the tradition of the game, and people love, who doesn't love more baseball, or who doesn't love more sports in general? And that's the point. We're getting more sports out of it. We're getting more spectating out of it. And ultimately, we're going to have a winner regardless. So that's just my opinion of that. Also, too, big league vets on the minor league deals can get up to $50,000 from the Players Union. So Major League Baseball is looking out for their own in this regard. And that's good. I'm always going to say, if you can get your money, get your money. So that's great. That's a great job of the Major League Baseball Players Union for doing that. Also, more good news in regards to Major League Baseball. Jim Edmonds, former St. Louis Cardinal, has fully recovered from coronavirus, thank God. And many blessings to him and his family as we all are transitioning through this time. And hopefully everybody's maintaining their social distancing and washing their hands and staying safe and doing what they need to do to protect their families at this point in time. Also, regards to the NBA, Giannis says he hasn't been training for a possible return. Says he has no access to a basketball hoop. And with that, you know, I don't understand that. I find that to be something that's hard to believe. I mean, look, you're one of the most valuable players in the NBA, and you can't find a basketball hoop. Most dudes have it built into their house, but you can't find one? I can go to the park and go find one. Easy. And then be back home, as long as I'm back home during a certain time of quarantine. But I mean, at the same time, too, we gotta stay home and stay safe. I understand that. But I mean, even still, I mean, look, get out and be active and be healthy and still take care of yourself. But I don't know what's going on there. Also, too, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett will be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Very well deserving. Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan's careers, they speak for themselves. With regards to what they've done. Tim Duncan, over the course of his career with the Spurs, him and Greg Popovich, what they've done, and also Tony Parker, you know, that's fantastic. And then also, too, Kobe Bryant, unfortunately taken from us too soon, will live forever in basketball immortality in the Hall of Fame. Heck of a career, 5 NBA titles, and countless accolades stacked add on to that, you know, with all-star appearances, MVPs, slam dunk champion, I believe in 97. You know, that career speaks for itself. So, I mean, kudos and well-deserved. He deserved, regardless of whether he was here with us or not, to get in on his first ballot. And couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, you know. So I think he's well-deserving of it. Also, too, Joel Embiid is establishing a funding campaign for coronavirus antibody testing for frontline healthcare workers. Good job, Joel Embiid. Good job. Well deserved. You know, can't say enough. The people on the front lines dealing with this, they deserve to be taken care of first and foremost. Ultimately, outside of the people that are suffering with this virus worldwide. So good job by Joel Embiid. I salute you. I definitely do. Also, too, Adam Silver met with Trump and told Trump that he wants pro sports to lead the way in restarting the U.S. economy. I agree with that. I really do. And I mean, that was part of Donald Trump's meeting with all the sports commissioners, from Roger Goodell to Adam Silver to Vince McMahon, and the UFC commissioner also the PGA Tour commissioner and the WNBA commissioner and the NHL commissioner and the MLB commissioner. So I fully understand that. I could get behind that 100%. Sports should help restart the economy. Sports helped us get through a tough time during 9/11. Baseball in New York was very important. It was important to see like the Yankees and the Mets playing back in their home fields, after the events of September the 11th. It was big when we saw the Saints come back to the Superdome after Hurricane Katrina. That was big to see, so I definitely feel that, that is something that needs to take place. Because, sports is what unites us as Americans. It's what unites us as people, of all different nationalities and races and everything like that. So I could fully get behind that and support it 100%. Adam Silver is absolutely correct for saying that. Nick Saban has stuck to his daily routine of working in his office on campus amid the shutdown of the state of Alabama. Saban feels that the 14 allotted practices that should take place before the start of preseason camp. I fully agree with Saban, and I salute Saban for doing that. Regardless of what has happened, Nick Saban has definitely maintained his health and has been there every day in his facility working and doing what he needs to do for the better of his team. And kudos to Nick Saban. He's doing it the right way. And I absolutely agree with him on the 14 allotted practices. Because, you're going to lose spring practice, but you know what? You still got 14 practices that you can still get in. And now you can put them and install them in before you open up fall camp. Which means more time to install a game plan, more time to break down film and correct mistakes, more time to grow as a team in those days of fall camp, more time to, get reps in for certain guys and stuff, more time to be able to get a better read on certain guys, more time to game plan for your opponent that's coming week 1 and everything like that. So Alabama will have more time, and all these other teams will have more time to break down their week 1 opponents if sports is going to come on time. I mean, a lot of people say, well, they're losing spring practice, so won't they be a little bit out of shape? Yes, and then no. Because here's the thing. These strength coaches are very smart guys. Very smart guys. Some of them have doctorates, I'm sure. Most of them have doctorates. They are going to make sure that their kids are following a certain regimen, eating a certain way, working out a certain way, doing what they have to do. It's up to the kids to follow suit, and I'm pretty sure that most of these kids will. At Alabama, especially and around the SEC, I'm sure. And a lot of these big-time Power 5 schools that are in contention for national championships, you better believe they're following a regimen. You better believe it. So I think that, losing spring practice is a big blow, but it's not going to be a deafening blow. It's really not. 'Cause I think you kind of limit the number of injuries with spring practice and stuff. But now you're going to pack in a lot with fall camp, and I think that that's going to be beneficial. So we shall see. Also, too, Dabo Swinney says he has zero doubt that college football seasons will start on time. He says, my preference is let's get to work and go play. That's the best case scenario, and I think that's what's going to happen. I don't have any doubt. I have zero doubt that we're going to be playing and the stands are going to be packed. He's been following the Tigers acronym, which means, TIGERS, standing for this is going to end real soon. And I'm honest, I'm with Dabo. I hope he's correct. I really do. Also, too, if you're a recruiting coach or a coach that's recruiting players out there for any colleges, the recruiting dead period has been extended through May 31st for all Division I and Division II schools, which means FCS and FBS schools on the Division I level and all Division II schools. And I'm pretty sure that means every sport. So the recruiting dead period has been extended through May 31st. Also, something else interesting happened. Mike Leach tweeted an image of a noose. And, this is the thing that he's caught a lot of grief over. The noose was displayed as a lady knitting a scarf, but it was really a noose. And he had the nerve to say, after he had posted it and then deleted it, saying, if you're offended, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend anyone. And that, I was watching Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, and even Shannon Sharp pointed out, when you said if you're offended, that doesn't necessarily mean you're sincerely sorry for what you said. And I have to agree with him. Because when you say if you're offended, that means, well, hey, if you're offended, then I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. You didn't necessarily say, I'm sorry for my actions. I have to be better than this because I'm the head coach and I have to be the mature one. I know now I have other coaches that are behind me, that are my assistants. I have a group of kids that I am coaching that are teenagers and young men that I have to set an example for. That's what I have to do. If he'd have broke it down like that, it'd have felt a little bit better. But you said if you're offended, and then given the history of the state of Mississippi and the South in lynching, and we all know the story of Emmett Till, you're not making many friends. And some of your players have already seen this now, and they already have intentions to transfer out. I believe earlier today I already saw it. A player is already plans to transfer out of Mississippi State, and that's shameful. And this isn't the first time that Mike Leach has gotten in trouble for something like this. Not this related, but mistreatment of a player. He was suspended indefinitely in 2009 for inappropriate mistreatment of Adam James, son of a former New England Patriot player, after he suffered a concussion. Leach was later then fired. This, based off of what just happened just now with Mike Leach, is definitely a fireable offense. It really is. If you ever want to talk about how you get fired on your day off, this is the prime example of it. Because that's inexcusable. Come on now. Now for FAMU. Does the loss of spring practice hurt this team? And how much install will have to go into fall camp? Honestly, I think, Willie Simmons and his staff have to follow what Nick Saban has said. He said that, 14 practices should be allowed before the start of preseason camp. If I'm Willie Simmons, I'm following suit too. Have those practices that we missed during the spring added on top of, before we begin fall camp. That way now we can kind of install stuff that we wanted to install. We have more time to prepare for Albany State. We have more time to add on plays and stuff. And then even still, too, when you get to game week, ain't no doubt in my mind and everybody else's mind, you're probably going to beat the brakes off Albany State. So, you got plenty of time now to game plan for Southern and beyond. Because you're not going to face a true test until September 12th in Baton Rouge. So that's my take of that. I think that they're going to be fine. Because if you notice, playing in the spring, it works both ways. You get an early look at guys going into summer conditioning, and then at the same time too, you don't want to get anybody hurt. So this kind of works both ways. But now, everybody's going to be on a level playing field if they stayed in shape going into fall camp. So now we will see what happens. And it's going to be interesting to see with this quarterback competition in particular, because that was the thing going into spring. How is all the quarterbacks going to look? How are they all going to look? How are they all going to look making their reads? Decision making, check downs, who can scramble the best out of this bunch if there is one, and if Willie Simmons' offense allows for that, because we're finally going to be able to see it. But, things happen. So now I guess, everything we're going to find out, hopefully down in South Beach, if that happens. Also, too, FAMU has added Florida to their 2025 schedule. This will be Florida and FAMU's first meeting since the 2003 game that took place in the Swamp, where FAMU lost 60-63. And yeah, we don't talk about that. For the Gators, briefly, this means that Florida will face 4 schools from the state of Florida in 2025. Florida State, Miami, USF, and FAMU. I still would like to see the Gators play UCF, but that's another story for another time. For FAMU, that adds on to a 4th series amongst in-state opponents. FAMU plays UCF. They already played them in 2019 to start, and then now they also play UCF in 2020 on November 7th in Orlando. They have a series with UCF, 3 games, 1 game in 2021, another one in 2023, and another one in 2027. And then a series with Miami in 2024 and in 2026. But my thing is with FAMU is this. Why not get a series going with App State or Georgia Southern or South Alabama or, Charlotte or Florida Atlantic or Florida International? That would be something fun to see. And then also, too, these are group of 5 opponents that you could probably hang with and maybe beat. Maybe not App State or Georgia Southern, but even still, it would be something interesting to see, given the playing field. But that's just me. Now on to the NFL. Is Tua deserving of being the number two QB off the board after Joe Burrow? Had his hip reevaluated and everything looks encouraging from what many people are saying. Also, too, we've also learned that many people thought it was only 3 surgeries that he had, but it's really turned out to have been 5. And should the Dolphins target Justin Herbert instead? Look, I'm hearing a lot of rumbling saying that, maybe the Dolphins are going to go ahead and trade up with the Bengals because the Bengals are open to hearing trade talks. And maybe they're going to trade up for Joe Burrow. But at the same time, too, if I'm the Dolphins, I'm thinking about it like this, go get Justin Herbert, sit where you are, because you already know Washington ain't going to touch him. Detroit ain't going to touch him. So, whenever you pick, and I believe the Giants are after the Lions, I believe. But, they don't need a quarterback. So, sit where you are and get your man if you can. Just sit where you are. Let Joe Burrow go to Cincinnati. You bring Justin Herbert down to Miami. You got 3 picks in the first round, I believe. Use those other 2 picks and build up your team. Use those picks. Get a running back. Add another receiver. Your defense is being built up by Brian Flores. He's already brought in Kyle Van Noy, I believe, or Jamie Collins. It was one of the 2. He's got 2 of the highest paid corners in the NFL, and Byron Jones and Xavier Smith on the outside. And he's probably going to draft a safety somewhere in there too, probably Xavier McKinney if he can, and take care of that. So just go ahead and get Justin Herbert. And then the other thing too is you haven't had stability at that position since the days of Dan Marino. So it is vital that you get this right. It's very much vital. Bears GM says that Nick Foles versus Mitch Trubisky is an open competition, and I'm very sure that it is. Look, that's a mess. That's a train wreck waiting to happen. That is a train wreck waiting to happen. And, I don't know who's going to be at the forefront of it. But I know one thing. If it does turn out to be a train wreck and whoever has to come in and fill in for the engineer of that, it ain't going to get much better. Given the fact that both of those 2 are the 2 options. When you've got guys like Cam Newton and Jameis Winston sitting in free agency that are, in my opinion, better. Both of them. Donald Trump believes the NFL should start on time. California Governor Gavin Newsom doesn't anticipate the NFL season will happen on time with 80,000 fans in California. Look, I'm all for having the NFL season, but, it's all about fan and player safety and media safety and everything like that. You don't want to put anybody in harm's way, so whatever they decide to do is what's going to happen. And the NFL came out and said this earlier, conditions must be met for the season to start on time. Prerequisites must be met regarding the testing for coronavirus. Everything is going as planned so far in regard to preparations, according to Dr. Alan Sills and League General Counsel Jeff Pash. Everything must be evaluated, and the league must follow recommendations from public health officials and infectious disease experts. So, depending on what those public health officials and those infectious disease experts say, determines if the 2020 season happens on time or even if it happens at all or not. So, if they say it's a green light, we're full go, But if they say we can't do it, you can't do it. But the thing that I think should happen, if it does happen, you're going to see training camps not open to the public, I think. That's something that's going to take place. Because training camp is from around July to August, early August. So, That's something that's not going to probably take place out of, safety reasons for everybody. Things are going to slowly open up. Slowly. Probably not till September things are going to really open up if everything happens on time. So I wouldn't anticipate training camp being open to the public like it usually is year in and year out. That's just probably not going to happen this year. Patriots team plane flew supplies from China to New York to help out with the COVID-19 virus. Also, team equipment truck delivered supplies to people in Massachusetts. Major respect to Robert Kraft for what he's doing. Major league respect. Tony Baselli has made a full recovery from coronavirus after his hospitalization. All glory and praise to God for what's going on with his situation for him and his family. Much wishes for his health. And now,
The bug is coming. The bug is coming.
trivia with the bug.
Yes, this is the bug, and I have some NFL trivia. My trivia is, who played in the second overtime playoff game in NFL history? Can you name the two teams?
So now, yes, you've heard it. Who were the two teams that played in the second overtime game in NFL history? Leave your comments below on this podcast. But, as you know, that's going to do it for me. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Running Gun Podcast. I'm JPeeps. Much appreciation to Denny Hendricks, JC, Flash, D. Sasser himself, the Bug, and also, thank you so much for following and listening to these podcasts. Can't tell you enough how much that means. But as always, like, subscribe, and share. Follow us on Facebook at Penalty Talk. Follow us on Twitter at Penalty Talk. Follow us on Instagram at Throw Flags. And as always, stay safe. Wash your hands. Maintain your social distancing until, it's safe for us to all come back outside and enjoy sports and the joy of everybody else's company around us, our loved ones. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next episode.
We don't vibe with y'all some lame old. We don't want it low, we want the smoke on high. Anybody violating and a big gon' die. We don't ball over, we some roll runners. Yeah, we got the bag, we want more money. Count money, swearing what to do. B, I don't leave the house without a cannon on me. All of my friends, we some bosses, yeah. We ain't really tripping about the losses, yeah. Ever put a banger, we gon' pop it. We gon' run it up and ain't nobody gon' stop it.